Welcome back to my garden. My garden is located in northeast Pennsylvania. Hardiness zone 7A, and my expected first frost date is October 17th. That means I have 71 days more left in this growing season. So today I'll be discussing what my intentions are and planting out for this August 2025. I'll be only focusing on just a couple of summer crops. The rest will be predominantly fall plants. The garden is very full, but I am going to make some room to put those plants that I am looking at. So this cucumber plant is kind of beat up, so I'm going to be putting in a couple more seeds someplace else. Don't know that I'll be putting a cucumber in a grow bag in the future. So what I am going to do is remove this tomato plant. I'm going to remove this tomato plant. This is the thornburn terracotta. It is supposed to be a beefsteak tomato, but it has been producing only those small looking tomatoes, and they're all cracked and not doing that great. So I'm going to remove that plant, and put something that I can actually enjoy. So I'm not a big tomato fan anyway, so I'm going to put in some cucumber that I actually will enjoy. So this is coming out, and cucumber is going there. But first I'm going to harvest some of this dill seeds. In addition to the spot we just discussed for the cucumber, I harvested my potatoes from these, actually 3 containers, and I am going to be putting in some collards. I'm going to put the Georgia collards as well as a different type of Vetus collards in these 2 containers here. Now, not sure the birds or the squirrels or the chipmunk planted this. I'm going to remove it because I think it's a weed. Here's something else that the critters planted as well. Might be a sunflower, but I'm not sure. I might just remove it from this little bag here and put some peas or some beans. Here's the other cucumber plant that is also beat up. So I'm just going to go ahead and, like I said, put a couple more seeds in over on the other side, because these are on their last leg. This is the other pot that I harvested the potatoes from. I'm going to put some peas in here and leave it right over on this side, as it does get the morning sun, but then in the afternoon it's a bit of shade, and I don't want, I know the peas like it's a cool weather crop, so I'm going to try to accommodate that. So let's take a look at what I am planting out. So here's what I am planting out. For the summer, I'm going to be doing some Diva cucumber as well as some Blue Lake bush beans. And these bush beans have 55 days maturity. And as I mentioned previously, my expected first frost is the 17th of October. So I have 71 frost-free days to plant. Be able to get the harvest of the cucumber and the beans before my first frost. This is red beet. This is the Vetus collards. This is the Vetus collards, as well as the Georgia Southern collard that I'll be planting out. I am thinking about doing some carrots. This is the Danvers half-long carrots, and this is a spinach that I'm going to be doing probably in a pot, as well as the daikon radish. This is the peas. Not sure what kind of peas it is, but it says peas, so I'm going to take a chance and put some in the pot over there on the other side of the garden. So let's get this pot ready to plant out the Georgia collard. So in preparation for this this container, as I said, it had previously potatoes in there, so I'm going to replenish the soil with some amendments. I'm going to do some worm castings and some all-purpose fertilizer, as well as some blood meal. So I have added the amendments. I'm going to work it into the soil. And then I'm going to do 2 seeds. Lord, if I can find the seeds. Now, once they germinate, don't even know where I did it. Once they germinate, I've added 2 seeds. Once they germinate, I will thin to 1, because this particular collards get very big. So only 1 can be in the growing space. I'm not even sure where the seed fell, because everything is the same color. But anyway, this container is for the Georgian collard. Let me go ahead and water it in, and hopefully it will germinate quickly. All right, let's tuck a few beet seeds over here. I did tuck some in July. They germinated, but they were promptly eaten. So let's try again. So where do we have them? Can't see. Oh my God. So we have one here, here, and over here. Here and here. Gonna water those in. Okay, let's tuck in the cucumber seeds. I am going to be doing 2 seeds, and I cannot promise that I will be thinning in this instance if they both germinate. So let's get them in here. Get them in here. Okay. That's 1. That's 2. That's 2. So this one, let's go ahead and bury it right there. This one, let's shift it over a little bit. That's right there. I'm gonna water that in. Now, once the cucumber seeds germinate, I will be pulling out, well, cutting out the tomato plant that's here. I'm gonna give it a chance to see if I get anything that's worth my while until the cucumber seeds germinate. Okay, so I am sowing 3 seeds of the Vetus, and I will certainly thin to 1 once I see what the germination is like. I've had this seed packet for a very long time, so not sure what the germination rate will be. So let me cover these over, and then I will water them in along with the beets and the cucumber. That's going to be it for today. I will continue with the sowing tomorrow, which is the 6th. I'm going to do the peas, possible the carrots. I might wait until next week to do the spinach and the radish. It's a few days later. Actually, I started this video on August 5th, and today is August 9th, and I just want to try to conclude it so that we can so I can get it posted. So I've removed the coreopsis that were here. I've cut them back, and I'm going to remove the root ball from the pot, put it in the ground somewhere. Here's my reasoning for that. I am going to plant out. I'm going to plant out some spinach in this pot, and possible a couple of the daikon radishes, because I really haven't planted that out as yet. So the spinach I am going to put in here. It's from Johnny's, and it is the organic hybrid Savoy spinach, and I planted this before and the results were very good, so I'm going to go with this again. So what I am in the process of doing right now is I'm going to put some, replenish the soil, put some more potting mix in, and some fertilizer, and then I'll go ahead and plant out the spinach. So I have the potting mix. It's not the best quality, but it is what I have. So I'm going to pour it in here. Maybe I need to go get some more. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, and I'm also filling that hole that I took where I took that pepper from. So yeah, I think this is good. And what I'll do as well, once I've planted, once I've sown the seeds for, once I sow the seeds for the spinach, I will try to keep the area cool, covered somehow, because for this particular spinach it said for fall harvest, so in mid to late summer. So I also have another little tray that I'm going to plant some spinach in it as well. I'll go ahead and show that to you when I'm done here. Let's get some fertilizer in. I'm going to also put some blood meal, as these are leafy greens and you know they need the nitrogen. So I have a busted up bag here with my blood meal. There's a hole in the bag. So let's get this blood meal and put a handful of the blood meal in here to compensate for the lousy potting mix. Then I do have some balanced fertilizer as well. And this is another bag that I managed to get a hole in the bag, so I have to have it in a second bag. I don't know what it is with me and getting holes in my fertilizer bag. Let's go ahead and put this in. And these are the only two amendments that I am putting in this pot. I'm not going to put any worm castings or anything like that. Let's loosen up. And I am going to sow these tight, the spinach. For the spinach, this is a dividing line for the spinach, and I'm going to put some of the daikon radish in the back. Like I said, I have another container that I'm going to do with the spinach. So let's go ahead and sow some seeds. Just a little. Let me see here. 18 inches apart, half-inch deep, 12 in rows of 12 to 18 inches apart. Well, I don't think it's gonna get that in this basket, this bin. Half-inch deep. We'll sow and thin. We will sow and thin. Okay. Take these gloves off because I can't handle those small, tiny seeds. Wait. Oh, they're not so tiny after all. So we can see what we're doing. I'm just going to drop them in there. And my intention is to really harvest them as baby leaves. Don't necessarily want them to come to a full head. Anyway, just decent size. And once these germinate, I will try my best to keep them covered so they don't bolt on me. Because as I said, it's August 9th, so we still have a good amount of hot weather to deal with here in the Northeast. Let's put some here. I mean, it really grieved me when I have to go to the store to buy spinach and those kind of things, and it's something that I know that I can grow. I'm going to also try to plant some lettuce, romaine lettuce, and see how I do with that. I have to find a spot for that. And with the daikon radish, I grew these, oh my gosh, I grew these in 2022. Unfortunately, I was not able to harvest them. That's when I got my diagnosis for multiple myeloma, that same October when it was coming time from the maturity and I was supposed to harvest. I was in a hospital. So this is, since 2022, it's my first attempt again at trying these daikon radishes. So let's see what it says here. It says sprouts in 3 to 6 days. Ideal temperature 50 to 75. This is not ideal temperature. Sowing depth 1/4 inch. Space 4 inches apart. Frost hardy, yes. So maybe I should wait until later in the summer. I'm sowing it now. I'm here. Yes, I've been living with multiple myeloma for almost 3 years. I go in for monthly chemo treatments and also another infusion that's called IVIG, and I am planting 2 things in the same row. Let's get this out of here. Almost made a boo-boo. In addition to the IVIG and the chemo, I also take a daily chemo, orally. I'm in remission right now, and that's a maintenance, and I'm in maintenance right now. So I'm in remission and I'm in maintenance, and I'm thankful for that. And I have good days and I have bad days. Anyone that's dealing with something like this can tell you that it's tough to deal with from time to time. And yeah. So I think I was only able to get 4 seeds in there. I think I'll have to try to find someplace else to get some more. Let's cover this over and water it in. And that's the spinach and daikon radish for this bin. All right. Let's move on to the other little container that I'm going to be using for the radishes. It's over on my patio, so let's go over there. I have watered in the spinach and the daikon radish and squirrel proof the container so that it won't dig it up. And this is a Swiss chard. I couldn't remember the name earlier, but this is a Swiss chard that I'm leaving in there, as well as the green onions. Let's go ahead and tackle the second container I'm planting with spinach today. This is the second container that I am tackling today with the spinach. There's already some potting mix in here from spring. I had lettuce in this container earlier in the spring. Again, I'm going to top it off with some of this potting mix. Even though the potting mix that's in there already is a better quality than what I'm putting in now. Same thing with the other pot over there. Let me hurry up and get this done before the mosquitoes eat me alive. They are relentless. Let's go ahead and put another couple more scoops in. So I am going to put in the amendments, same as before. The blood meal, the balanced fertilizer, I'm going to go ahead and work it in. Let me get the spinach seeds. Let me see how many seeds I can fit in this in this one. how many inches apart? Spacing. For baby leaves, so 2 to 4 inches wide band. Well, I just lost a seed. Oops, spilled some. I'm sure I'll never recover those. We'll see what germinates and what needs to be thin or whatever, but that's it. That's it. That's what we're working with. I'm gonna spread some of the potting mix on top. Then I'll water it in and try to get some chicken wire over it to deter the squirrels. We'll see what germinates and where we can thin and probably transplant some out. We will see. So that takes care of that. Let's get some water. I'm going to leave it on this table overnight. So this is what we have. Chicken wire. That will have to do for now. Let me take you over and show you the stuff that where I planted what on the 5th and also what has already germinated. As you recall, on the 5th of August, I sowed some Georgia collards in this container, and it has already germinated. I did put 2 seeds in, and I will be thinning. So that has germinated, which is fantastic. And the container right next to that, I also did some collard, which is the beets collards. Those have not germinated as yet, and we had some beets that that fell into the pot, but those have not germinated. But as you can see, the squirrels or the chipmunk planted some stuff. Those have germinated. Not sure what they are, but I will sure be taking them out of the pot. My intention was to plant the peas in this container, but I did not. I changed my mind. I'm not going to do any peas in the fall. What I did plant out was some more of the beets collards in this spot. So I have 2 pots with the beets and 1 pot with the Georgia collards. In this back bed over here, I sowed some beets. Nothing has germinated as yet for the beets, but this was all done. I think I did that on the 6th, so nothing has germinated yet in the back corner here for the beets. I did plant some beets out right next to the pepper, right over here. I think I may see some germination. I'm not sure. Let me see. Or is that weed? I think maybe weeds. Yeah, looks like weeds. Yeah, so nothing has germinated over here as yet. But I'm sure to take you along once we see germination. This is the spot where I sowed the diva cucumber seeds. And I do see that we have germination. Yes, we do. Germination indeed. Let me go on the other side where I sowed the beets seeds to see if anything has germinated as yet. The beets that I planted did not germinate, but what I'm so excited to show you is my buttercup squash on the vine. I have a number of them on there that has pollinated. There's like 3 right there. That's a better view. There's one right there, that one. And I actually hand pollinated this one. So let's hope it takes. And I have one butternut. One butternut that's coming along. Another buttercup. Where is it? There it is on that side that has pollinated. So I have quite a few fruits on this vine. Let me show you one other thing and then we're going to wrap it up. Here it is. My spaghetti squash. This is the first one that got pollinated. There are a few more that's coming along, but this is the first one. Super, super excited. So thank you for joining me today here at my backyard garden. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel to help me grow. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.